Every state I've covered so far, people already knew the name before I said it. Texas, Tennessee, those are the states that show up in every cheapest places to live article online. Georgia never makes that list. And that might be the biggest mistake in American real estate right now. The largest state east of the Mississippi, no state property tax. Winters so mild that people grow food in their yards 8 months out of the year. 159 counties. And in most of them, people are living on their own land, in their own house, paying less in property taxes per year than most Americans pay in rent per month. I found 10. The list starts at $274,000, and by the time we reach the very last house, we're all the way down to $33,000. Your own stocked pond with a covered dock where you walk out in the morning and catch dinner before breakfast is cold. A colonial with columns out front that make the whole street stop and look for less than what most people put down on a mortgage. And at the bottom of this list, a house so cheap that I went back to the listing 3 times because the number didn't feel real. I'm Joseph. I'm retired. And every week I pick a different state and dig through listings until I find the ones that don't make sense. Subscribe to my channel Tiny Bucks Houses so you see them before everyone else does. I've never found 10 in one state before. Georgia was the first, and by the time you see the last house, you'll know why I couldn't stop. Let's start with the first house on today's list. 15 acres. 2 rocking chair porches stacked one on top of the other, each one 44 feet long. And when you step through the front door, you're standing on heart of pine. That's not regular hardwood. That's wood from old-growth longleaf pine trees that took 100 years to grow. The same kind of timber they used to build George Washington's home at Mount Vernon. You can't buy it new anymore. The great room is where this house opens up and doesn't stop. 19 by 36 feet, that's the size of a small barn. A wood-burning stove sits on a full brick hearth against one wall, ceiling fans turning slow overhead, and windows on every side pulling in light from the property. This is not a room you walk through on the way to somewhere else. This is the room where Thanksgiving happens. The kitchen has pine wood cabinetry wrapping both sides, a center island big enough to prep a meal for 10, and a propane cooktop, the kind of burner people who actually cook refuse to give up. There's a sunroom off to one side filled with natural light, and an office tucked in next to it for the days when you're working from home but want to look up and see trees instead of a parking lot. A side deck runs 35 feet along the house, long enough to set up a table, chairs, and still have room to walk past without anyone standing up. Upstairs, the primary bedroom is 21 by 19 feet with its own wood-burning stove. The bathroom up here is where the house surprises you. Dual vanity sinks, a custom-tiled shower, and a jetted garden soaker tub deep enough to disappear into after a long day. There's a second bedroom downstairs that works as another primary suite. Its own space, its own privacy, which means 2 generations or 2 families can live here without ever getting in each other's way. 3 more bedrooms upstairs, each one big enough to set up however you want. The wallpaper through the house gives every room a warmth that paint never quite manages. Soft patterns, warm tones, the kind of detail that makes you feel like someone's been living here and loving it for a long time. Now step outside. 15 acres of open Georgia land stretching out in every direction, and not a single rooftop on the horizon. This is the kind of property where you can stand on that upper porch with your morning coffee and watch the fog lift off the grass while the sun comes up behind the tree line. No HOA telling you what color to paint the mailbox. No neighbor close enough to hear. Just your land, your sky, and the kind of silence that people drive hours to find on vacation. Except here, it's just a Tuesday. Let me tell you where this is. About 3,800 people. The name comes from the Bible. It means my delight is in her, and the people who live here will tell you the name fits. It's quiet, it's green, and it feels like the Georgia that existed before everybody started rushing. But you're not far from anything. Augusta is a 14-minute drive north, the second largest city in the state, with hospitals, universities, grocery stores, and restaurants. The Masters golf tournament happens there every April. There's a river walk along the Savannah River where people spend their weekends. You get all of that when you need it, and 15 acres of nothing when you don't. This is the kind of house where you move in on a Saturday, and by Sunday evening you're already sitting on that upper porch wondering why you didn't do this 10 years ago. 15 acres, heart of pine under your feet, a wood stove keeping the room warm, and a tax bill that comes in under $1,000 a year. But the next house drops the price, and somehow the property gets even more impressive. I had to scroll through the photos twice because I kept thinking I was looking at a different listing. Property number 2. The first thing you see is the pond. Not in the distance, right there, from the porch, from the kitchen window, from the bedroom when you open the blinds in the morning. This property was built around the water, and everything about the way it lives starts and ends with that view. 13 acres, a covered dock sitting right at the edge where you can drop a line before the coffee gets cold, and 10 steps from the water, a fish cleaning station, already built, already wired. Most people dream about this kind of setup and never build it. Somebody already did, and then put it up for sale. The house sits up behind the pond, cottage style, metal roof, raised foundation, built in 2000. Open floor plan with specialty ceilings that give every room more air than the square footage would suggest. The kitchen opens up into the living area with enough counter space to actually cook in, and a laundry room tucked off to the side that doesn't steal space from anywhere else. The tile is clean throughout. The bathrooms both have custom tiled showers, and the layout has that easy kind of flow where you're never walking through one room just to get to another. There's a flexibility here, 2 bedrooms on the listing, but the way it's arranged right now, it lives like 3. The rooms are bright, the windows pull in the pond and the trees, and nothing about this house is trying too hard. It just works the way a home is supposed to. The porch is where this house earns its keep. Wide, covered, looking straight out over the water. This is the room without walls that you'll use more than any room inside. Now walk the land. Pecan trees dropping every fall, enough to fill bags and still leave some on the ground. A chicken coop already set up. A detached garage with room for vehicles, ATVs, equipment, a workshop out back. Deer walk through the tree line in the early morning. Turkeys cross the property like they own it. Ducks land on the pond and stay. The pond even has its own dedicated well to keep the water level right when the summer gets dry. Now let me tell you where this is. 1,800 people in southwest Georgia, county seat of Calhoun County. The kind of town where people still wave from their truck when they pass you on the road, and the cashier at the store knows your name by your second visit. Everything you need for a regular week is right here. Now here's what makes this corner of Georgia different from almost anywhere else in the country. Southwest Georgia is the quail capital of the world. That's not a nickname somebody made up. It's a 400,000-acre belt of hunting plantations stretching from Albany down to Thomasville, some of them owned by the same families for over 100 years. People fly in from New York and Chicago just to hunt these woods for a weekend. You'd be living in the middle of it, with your own pond, your own land, and a porch where nobody's charging you by the night. So here's what this property comes down to. 13 acres with a stocked pond, a covered dock, pecan trees, a chicken coop, and a house that feels like home the moment you walk through the door, in the middle of the best hunting country in America. $250,000. I genuinely thought the first 2 houses would end up being the highlight of this list, but the next property made me rethink that the moment I opened the listing. This house doesn't need a story to sell it. It just needs you to walk through the front door and look around, because everything inside has already been done. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a single floor sitting on a gentle hill on 3.5 acres, set back from the road far enough that headlights never reach the windows. Somebody took this 1980 house and brought it into the present without erasing anything that made it comfortable in the first place. The floors are new, luxury vinyl plank running through every room, clean and warm underfoot. The kitchen has been redone with white cabinetry, a center island, stainless steel appliances, and pendant lights hanging overhead. The living room opens up tall. Vaulted ceiling, a fireplace on one wall, ceiling fan turning slow, and enough natural light coming through the windows that you don't reach for the switch during the day. The primary bedroom is set apart from the rest of the house with its own attached room. Flexible space that works as an office, a reading room, a place to set up a second screen and work from home while looking out at the trees instead of a cubicle wall. The other 2 bedrooms are bright and wide with new flooring and big windows. The bathrooms have been remodeled. Gray vanities, clean lines, modern fixtures, the kind of work that tells you someone cared about the details, not just the price tag. And then there's the screened porch. If you've never lived in the South, this is the room that changes everything. Vaulted wood ceiling, screens on every side, surrounded by green, and a quiet so deep you can hear the birds shift branches. This is where your morning starts and your evening ends. This is the room that sells the house. Outside, 3.5 acres of rolling green land, mature trees, and the kind of privacy that makes you forget the road exists. Brick and vinyl siding on the outside, central heat and air, no city taxes, no HOA. The well handles the water, the septic handles the rest, and the whole property was just listed, which means you're seeing it before most people even know it's there. Now let me tell you where this is. About 9,000 people in the dead center of the state. County seat of a county literally named Peach. This is the peach capital of the world. The orchards start at the edge of town and roll out in every direction. And every June, the whole area shuts down for the Georgia Peach Festival. Lane Southern Orchards runs a sprawling retail and packing operation right here that draws tourists from across the state just to taste what comes off these trees. There are grocery stores, restaurants, a hospital nearby, and a downtown that's been coming back to life with restored buildings and a renovated theater from the early 1900s. Everything you need is here, and the peaches are free if you know whose tree to stand under. Let me put it this way. 3.5 acres, a house where every room has already been updated, and a screened porch that makes you forget what time it is. $209,900. After seeing everything the first 3 houses offered, I genuinely didn't expect the next listing to surprise me, but somehow it did. Property number 4. Somebody started something beautiful in this house, and then stopped. That's the first thing you feel when you walk in. Not neglect, not damage. Just a vision that got halfway there and is waiting for the right person to finish it. The living room tells the whole story. One wall is covered floor to ceiling in reclaimed barnwood, real planks, rough-edged, warm, with a fireplace sitting in the center of it. The walls around it are painted deep navy. A ceiling fan turns overhead. The light comes in through big windows. This room already has a mood. The kind of room where you sit down in the evening and don't turn the TV on because the room itself is enough. The kitchen carries the same character, gray-blue cabinetry with granite countertops, an industrial faucet over the sink, and enough space to cook without bumping into anyone. It's not fully finished. You can see it in the details, but the bones are there, and whoever picked out the palette knew exactly what they were doing. Upstairs, the bedrooms have that same barnwood showing up on walls, on shelves, on built-ins, mixed with navy and gray tones that keep every room feeling connected. One of the bathrooms has marble-look tile in the shower with reclaimed wood framing around it, the kind of detail that most people only see in magazines. The other bathroom is simpler and needs more attention. The whole house is a mix of rooms that are almost done and rooms that are almost ready to be started. The house was built in 2008, so the bones are young. 2 stories, split-level layout, central heat and air. There's a finished basement with its own bathroom, extra space that doesn't show up in the listing numbers but shows up the moment you walk down the stairs. Outside, the acre opens up with a barn on the property, and enough yard to do whatever you want with it. The neighborhood is established. There are houses around you, people who've been here a while. Before you sign anything, walk over and say hello. In a town like Monticello, the neighbors are half the reason people stay. About 2,800 people in the rolling hills of central Georgia, county seat of Jasper County, which has been here since 1808. This is a town built around a courthouse square with tree-lined streets and historic homes from every era, Greek Revival, Craftsman, Colonial, all standing next to each other like a timeline you can drive through. The scenic byway runs right past it, with farmland and pine forest stretching out on both sides. Atlanta is about an hour northwest when you need a big city, but out here, the pace is different. The kind of place where the biggest thing on the calendar is a fall festival, and nobody's complaining about that. This house just dropped $20,000. Somebody loved this place enough to start turning it into something special. What's left is the easy part, $190,000. After that last house, I figured the rest of the list would slow down. The next one proved me wrong before I even finished loading the photos. This house was built in 1959, and the best decision anyone ever made about it was leaving it alone. Red brick on all 4 sides, metal roof overhead. From the outside, it looks like every solid ranch house you've ever driven past and thought, that one's been there forever, and it'll be there long after everything else on the block is gone. Because it will. Walk inside, and the first thing you notice is the wood. Knotty pine paneling running through the house. Walls, hallways, room after room, warm, golden, and glowing in the afternoon light like honey. This isn't cheap paneling somebody stapled over drywall in the 80s. This is the real thing, milled and installed when the house was new, when builders used pine because it was beautiful and nobody had to explain why. The foyer opens into a formal living room. Carpet underfoot, ceiling fan, the kind of space where company sits and stays. Beyond that, a second living area stretches out wide. Pine paneling on every wall, big windows looking out onto the yard, ceiling fan turning slow. A dining table in the corner where Sunday dinner has probably happened 1,000 times. The kitchen wraps around 2 walls with wood cabinetry that matches the pine in the rest of the house. A cooktop, an oven, a bar where you can sit and eat without ever setting the table. Every appliance stays with the house. There's a walk-in laundry room off the back that doubles as a mudroom with a door straight to the carport. The kind of layout that sounds simple until you realize how many houses forget to build it. Down the hall, 3 bedrooms, the primary tucked at the far end with its own bathroom, and enough distance from the other 2 that privacy isn't a question. The other bedrooms carry that same pine warmth on the walls, ceiling fans in each one, windows bringing in the yard, and the bathrooms. These are the rooms that make you stop. Pink tile, burgundy trim, a walk-in shower with original tile work that's been here since Eisenhower. In most houses, someone would have ripped all of this out and replaced it with gray subway tile and called it modern. Here, nobody touched it, and that's why it still has a soul. Outside, the acre opens up flat and green. A patio off the back with room for a table, a storage shed tucked under the trees, a carport with room for 2. Public water, public sewer, no well to worry about, no septic to maintain. Now let me tell you about Colquitt. About 2,000 people, the only incorporated town in Miller County. And here's the part that makes Colquitt unlike any other small town on this list. In 1992, this town was dying. Population dropping, businesses closing, kids leaving after graduation and never coming back. And then somebody had an idea that sounded crazy. They'd save the town by putting on a play. They called it Swamp Gravy. Local stories, local actors, performed in a restored cotton warehouse from the New Deal era. It became Georgia's official folklife play. People started driving in from across the state to see it, and they still do every spring and fall, in a 284-seat theater packed with people watching their neighbors act out the stories of the town they all share. That's not something you read about in a brochure. That kind of thing tells you everything you need to know about the people who live here. So let me put this simply. A 1959 brick ranch with original pine paneling, original tile bathrooms, and a metal roof, on a full acre with public utilities, in a town that figured out how to save itself. I honestly thought there had to be some hidden catch with the next listing, because houses that look like this are usually nowhere near this price. People keep asking me to find more of these. Houses where 100 years of history hasn't been stripped out and replaced with gray paint and vinyl flooring. Houses where the original doors are still hanging, the original floors are still under your feet, and nobody's tried to turn it into something it was never meant to be. So here's one. Built in 1900. White clapboard, 2 stories, columns framing the front entrance, and 2 chimneys rising from either side like bookends holding the whole thing together. From the street, this house looks exactly the way it did when the century turned, and inside, it feels that way too. 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, nearly 3,500 square feet on just over an acre, in the heart of downtown Thomson. $44 a square foot. Walk through the front door and you're standing on wide plank hardwood that's been here since day one. Beadboard ceilings overhead. The rooms flow into each other through doorways instead of hallways. Living room to dining room to bedroom. Every space connected the way people actually move through a home. And the doors, hand-carved dark wood with oval medallions and laurel wreaths, original to the house. You can't buy craftsmanship like this anymore. Every bedroom has its own fireplace. The dining room has built-in cabinetry. There's a sunroom filled with light and a screened porch looking out through the magnolias. This house is not move-in ready. The kitchen needs a full reimagining. The bathrooms are a blank canvas, and there's no central heat or air. But the bones are straight, the structure is standing, and everything that makes this house irreplaceable is still here. And outside, a guest cottage, an old cookhouse, and a historic garage. 3 buildings on the property besides the house, each one with its own story and its own potential. Public water, public sewer. Now let me tell you about Thomson. About 6,800 people, 35 miles west of Augusta. They call it the Camellia City of the South. Thousands of camellia bushes planted through the streets and yards, blooming every winter when everything else is bare. This town has been here since 1837, a railroad depot that grew into a county seat. The oldest stone house in Georgia is right here, the Rock House, built in 1785, still standing with its original walls. Blind Willie McTell, one of the most important blues musicians in American history, was born in Thomson. The town throws a blues festival in his name every year. There are grocery stores, restaurants, a hospital nearby, and a downtown where the buildings have been here long enough to remember when the trains still stopped. This is a house for someone with a vision. 3,500 square feet of 1900 craftsmanship, hand-carved doors, beadboard ceilings, on an acre in the middle of town with public utilities. $44 a square foot. You would normally expect a huge step down at a lower price point, but the next house somehow keeps the character while dropping the number even further. You've seen this town before, even if you've never been here. Reese Witherspoon walked down this main street in Sweet Home, Alabama. They filmed it right here in Crawfordville, because when Hollywood needed a town that looked like the real South, not a set, not a studio lot, they found this place and didn't change a thing. White columns framing the front porch with an American flag hanging by the door. This is a 1922 home sitting on 3 acres, and the front half of this house will stop you before you get to the back. The living room and dining room are where this house shows its best cards first. Light blue walls, golden hardwood floors catching the afternoon sun, crystal chandeliers hanging from the ceiling, and an arched window with leaded glass that throws a different pattern on the floor every hour of the day. These rooms are elegant, and they're ready right now. The kitchen carries warm oak cabinetry with tile floors and a breakfast room off to the side. Move through to the back and the house tells you a different story. Sage green walls with paint starting to lift, rooms that need fresh plaster, fresh color, and someone who sees what they could be instead of what they are right now. 2 bedrooms. The primary is generous with its own sense of privacy. 1 bathroom. That's tight for most families, and it's worth knowing. But at $71 a square foot on 3 acres, the math gives you room to add what's missing. The house has forced air heating and central air conditioning. Real, not window units, not fireplaces only. That matters at this price. Public water, public sewer. Outside, 3 acres with mature trees, a guest cottage that needs repair, a storage shed, and a garage with enough character to match the main house. The backyard disappears into the woods with an old picket fence marking where the yard ends and the wild begins. Now let me tell you about Crawfordville. 479 people. County seat of Taliaferro County. This is as quiet as Georgia gets. But quiet doesn't mean disconnected. I-20 is 2 miles from the front door, which means Augusta is 35 minutes east and Atlanta is about 90 minutes west. And right here in town is Stevens State Park. Fishing, camping, hiking, horseback riding trails, and a restored mansion with a Civil War museum inside it. You'd be living 5 minutes away. The price just dropped $30,000. The seller is serious. A 1922 home on 3 acres with a state park down the road. In the town where they filmed Sweet Home, Alabama. $130,000. The next house breaks below $100,000. And it might be the most confusing listing I've ever put on this channel. Because when you see it from the street, you'd swear somebody forgot a 0 in the price. Look at this house. White clapboard, 2 stories, brand new classical fluted columns holding up the front porch, fresh paint. If you drove past this house at sunset, and I have a photo that proves it, you would guess $500,000 without thinking twice. You wouldn't slow down to check. $99,000, built in 1917, 6 bedrooms, 2,800 square feet, $35 a square foot, in a town where the average home sells for over $300,000. Every room is white, beadboard ceilings, plank walls, all painted the same clean white from floor to ceiling. 2 fireplaces with original mantels still standing. Crown molding running along the tops of the walls. French doors between rooms. A staircase leading up to the second floor where the bedrooms open up wide with those new windows pulling in light from every direction. It's empty. It's raw. And it's waiting for someone to decide what it becomes. The honest part, this house is not finished. There is no kitchen. There is 1 bathroom for 6 bedrooms. The utilities are not turned on. You're buying the structure, the lot, the columns, and the vision. Cash only. Everything else is up to you. Outside, the half-acre sits on a level lot with a driveway and an outbuilding behind the main house. Public sewer, public water, and natural gas are all available at the street. You're not starting from nothing. You're connecting to what's already there. Now let me tell you where this is. About 5,000 people in Carroll County, and this is the part that matters. 38 miles from downtown Atlanta. This is not deep rural Georgia. This is the Atlanta metro area. I-20 runs right through town. The population grew 20% in the last 10 years because people figured out that you can live here, work in the city, and still come home to a quiet street with trees and a porch. The average home in Temple sells for over $300,000. This one is listed at $99,000. This is a 1917 Colonial that looks like it belongs on a postcard for less than the price of a new truck. The columns are up, the windows are in, the bones have been standing for over 100 years. Now this is the point where the prices on this list start making absolutely no sense, and the next house is where it begins. $78,000, and the first thing you notice isn't the house, it's the quiet. Tall pine trees on every side, so thick and close together that the light comes through in columns. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1 floor. The rooms are simple, wood paneling in some, painted walls in others, ceiling fans turning in every one. The kitchen is small and honest. It does the job without asking for attention. There's a laundry room set up and ready. The bedrooms have enough space to live properly and windows that bring in the green from every direction. The bathrooms are clean, tub and shower combos, nothing fancy, nothing broken. But here's what matters at this price. This house has central heat and air. The system is here, it works, and you don't have to think about it. For $78,000, that one thing changes the entire conversation. The screened porch on the back is the room that earns its keep. Vaulted wood ceiling, screens on every side, and a view straight into the pines. Morning coffee here doesn't taste like morning coffee anywhere else. The floors need work. You'll want to put down new coverings before you settle in. But the house is livable right now, and the expensive things are already taken care of. Outside, a storage shed, room to park under the carport, and 1.5 acres of wooded land where the only neighbors are the trees. Private well, septic system, and the tax is $520 a year. Now let me tell you where this is. The mailing address says Albany, and Albany is a real city. 65,000 people, hospitals, shopping, restaurants, a regional airport. But this house doesn't sit in the city. It sits in Mitchell County, just outside, where the streets end and the pines begin. You're close enough to drive into Albany for anything you need, and far enough out that nobody's driving past your house on the way to somewhere else. That's the whole point. $78,000. A house in the pines where the hardest decision you'll make is whether to drink your coffee on the porch or inside. The price just dropped $4,000. Every house on this list got cheaper. Every house made a little less sense than the one before it. And then there's the last one, and the last one broke the math completely. $32,900. A house built in 1950 with stone porch columns and a tax bill that most people spend more on at the grocery store. This is the last house on the list, and the one I couldn't stop coming back to. From the outside, cream siding, red trim along the roofline, and those columns up close are even better than the photos. Bushes clipped along the front, a concrete walkway curving up to the door, and a yard with enough shade from the old trees that the grass stays green even in August. This house looks like it was built by somebody who wanted it to last, and 75 years later, it's still here, proving them right. Inside, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, high ceilings that make every room feel taller than the number on paper. The rooms are simple. Paneling on some walls, painted surfaces on others, ceiling fans in every room. The kitchen runs along the back with enough space to work. There's a dining area right next to it with windows on two sides catching the morning light. The bedrooms are real rooms, enough square footage to set up a bed, a dresser, and still have floor space left. The bathroom is basic and needs attention. The house needs cosmetic work. New paint, new flooring, fresh energy. Nobody's hiding that. But the walls are standing, the roof is on, and public water and public sewer are already connected. That alone is worth more than most people realize at this price. Now let me tell you about Tifton. 17,000 people. This is not a wide spot in the road. This is a real city with grocery stores, restaurants, a hospital, a college, and a historic downtown with an Art Deco theater that's been restored and still hosts live shows. They call it the Friendly City, and it was named one of the 100 best small towns in America. I-75 runs right through town, which means you're connected to everything between Atlanta and Florida without living in either one. The Georgia Museum of Agriculture is here. 95 acres of restored buildings and a working steam train that draws visitors from across the state. And the average home in Tifton sells for over $200,000. This one is listed at $32,900. And here's the number that stays with you. $291. That's the tax bill for an entire year on a house with stone porch columns in a town of 17,000 people with public utilities and a hospital down the road. And that's Georgia. 10 houses across 159 counties that most people never bother to search. From a farmhouse with rocking chair porches and heart of pine floors, all the way down to a house with stone columns and a tax bill you could cover with what's in your wallet right now. Every house on this list is real and listed as of today. If any of them stopped you, the links are in the description. Subscribe to my channel Tiny Bucks Houses so you catch the next state before everyone else does. Every state I cover teaches me something. Georgia taught me that the best deals are in the states nobody's talking about yet.